You are the cream of the crop, proving your status and prestige through fine dining experiences and acting as an art connoisseur. Just be sure you don't end up as the penniless imposter in high society. Hey guys, and welcome to Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're looking at High Society from designer Reiner Knizia. It's a 3 to 5 player bidding game and published by Osprey Games.
In the game, players are vying for riches and fame as they live out the extravagant lifestyle. We've got a copy from Osprey Games, so let's take a look at how it's played.
To set up the game, give each player an identical deck of cards, which is their cash.
Shuffle and place the status cards into the center of the table and flip over the first card, and then you're ready to begin.
Players will then bid on cards in hopes of adding them to their collection.
Each time the bid goes around the table, players must choose whether to up their bid or to withdraw.
Players may not make change though, so to increase their bid, they must lay an additional card.
Players who withdraw may pick up their cash back into their hand, and once everyone has passed, the status card goes to the highest bidder, who pays for the card and then flips the next status card to begin bidding.
If a disgrace card is revealed, the goals change.
Players will continue to bid their cash, but the first player to pass will receive the disgrace.
He gets to keep his money, but will end up penalized at the end of the game.
All other players must pay their money, but they aren't stuck with the disgrace.
The game continues until the fourth disgrace card is revealed. The game immediately ends and points are tallied, and the player with the most prestige in society wins.
Now, one more clarification on the end of that, because the player who has the least amount of cash in their hand at the end of the game actually immediately loses. So even if you had the most prestige on the table in front of you, if you haven't been able to balance your bidding skills and keep more money in your hand than everybody else in the game, doesn't matter how much prestige you have, you still lose. And those little fine intricacies in the game are what make it really interesting.
Yeah, everyone has the same cards in their deck of cash, and it's not just sequentially numbered. There's some skips in there, and you're not allowed to pick back up cards and make change. So I think that really changes, especially when you have like 20s and 25s in your hand, and you have to spend those somehow, or even choose to keep them but maybe not end up with as many prestige cards. That makes some really interesting choices when you're doing the bidding rounds.
And then those disgrace cards are really interesting as well, because you don't want to get stuck with those at the end of the game. You may have to spend some extra money to avoid taking them into your hand. And if you do spend the money, you may end up with the least amount of money, lots of pressure. The interesting thing is scoring at the end of the game, because you take all of your point value cards first and you add all those up. Then you do any of the like multiplier cards. Some of them will like times your score by 2 or cut it in half. The cut in half disgrace card is super painful, because you can go from having 30 points on the table and then all of a sudden, I have 15, I don't stand a chance at winning the game. That card can kill you, which is terrible.
There's also the Faux Pas Card, which if you get stuck with that disgrace card, the very next card that you win on the bid gets eliminated. We actually had a game where that came up. The next card was a 1, and the player paid a whole lot of money to get that card, so it was eliminated out of the game, which worked very well for them.
Yeah, really interesting the ways that the cards turn and how people in their mind bid and strategize on things. It is kind of a mathy brain burner for being a bidding game. I know some bidding games can be that way. Other times it's just, I need that card, give it to me. But just a really nice balance of mechanics, and that makes sense for who the designer is. Really had a lot of fun with it. We really enjoyed the illustrations as well.
Yeah, the illustration style has kind of an Art Nouveau feel to it. It kind of is reminiscent of Toulouse-Lautrec's art, but done in a very modern style, and it very well matches is this theme.
Yeah, I think the theme is probably a little tiny bit pasted on. You could pretty much have any theme with this game, but especially with the disgrace cards and the way that they've tied everything together, it does feel pretty intertwined, and it's fun to be kind of hoity-toity as you're throwing your $25,000 around and bidding on these different pieces.
If this sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to check out High Society from Osprey Games, and then check out our other videos from Tantrum House.
You are the cream of the crop. Yeah, I really like the art style. They've got that Art Nouveau thing going on, kind of the Louis-Lautrec. I said his name wrong.
Toulouse-Lautrec.
Toulouse, that guy.
Words are not coming to my mind.
Really blows your mind.
No.
And they don't want to end up as the poor guy at the end of the game. Poor guy. Proving your status and prestige through fine dining and art connoisseurship. Just make sure you don't end up as the penny. You didn't like that? Art connoisseurship? Seems like a thing. And those kind of interesting little tidbits of rule stuffiness.
Rule stuffiness.
Stuffiness, get it? High society?